y'all thought things were random. Let me do this. I guess some of y'all thought things were random. Like, for an example, at 3:45-ish p.m. Central Standard Time, there was a tweet that went out. It was the Blake Baker famous tweet of "Hold that tiger." Well, what does "Hold that tiger" mean? Normally means that you got somebody committed. Today, LSU completely killed every single thing about the buzz politically that happened last week. Meaning, when Jeff Landry did what he did in reference to his involvement or that the lack thereof, when it comes to the Brian Kelly firing, then Scott Woodward, within days later, gets pushed out from what it really and truthfully seemed as if, because politically aligned things didn't happen. So everything that happened last week, everything that we know, everything that we talked about is somewhat put to rest. Well, Blake, what do you mean? Because now, whether it is or isn't alignment, well, you got it, doesn't mean that that alignment isn't dysfunctional, or doesn't mean that that alignment isn't going to bring you championships. In case you missed it, Verge Osbury has been promoted to the LSU's full-time athletic director. There are a couple of things that we need to break down in this, and we will break down in this. Just give me just a minute because we got to start the show off here. It's Verge Osbury has been hired. Everyone do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Right down there below. 60% of you don't subscribe to the channel. Why? I have no clue. But you watch. Do us a favor. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that you are hitting that subscribe button when you do it. Let's continue, and please help us to continue to grow that community here tonight. Also, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Please give us a review. 1-star, 5-star. What do you think the show is worth? Are we a 5-star recruit or a 1-star recruit? I leave that up to you for you to decide. I hope you give us a 5-star. That's what I hope that you give us. But nevertheless, that's what we hope. But do us a favor and subscribe there as well if you do not mind. Let's get to a couple comments before we get rolling here. We had some people become members on the YouTube channel. Andrew, along with Matthew, and along with Chick, all became members of the YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate all three of you. We will have some members-only content coming out tomorrow. I'm assuming it's going to be about the coaching search. A little bit more detail happens on the members-only channel. Some things we kind of dive into that we don't really dive into a lot here when it comes to LSU. But thank all three of you for becoming members, and we'll have some fresh content out for you tomorrow. We greatly, greatly appreciate you being a part of the team here. Ricky Bertrand sends a $2 super chat, says the 337 New Iberia, Louisiana, stand up, home of our new athletic director, Verge Osbury. That is very true. Another Louisiana man from New Iberia getting a lead role here with LSU athletics, and good to Verge. Good for Verge. Happy for him. Very, very happy for him. Let me get to this too. Every AYS show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Do us a favor. Download the FD Sportsbook app if you have Apple or Android phones. Guys, listen. I love the FanDuel app. Everything about gambling right there in the palm of your hands. And here's the best thing about FanDuel. We talked about this last night, and they love when we talk about this. They have limitations that you can set for yourself if you just want to go over there and have fun. And that's what all of us are trying to do here. And we are proud to be partnered by our good friends over at FanDuel. It is the #1 sportsbook app in the great state of Louisiana because of all the great things that they do inside of their betting platform. Again, powered by FanDuel. Glad to be partnered with them this football season. Download the app for us. And maybe here come college football playoff time, we'll have some stuff for you. Maybe a little Christmas unraveling with Santa Claus right around the corner. I have the FanDuel app to do that. Dean became a member of the YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate you, Dean, for becoming a member as well. We'll have that content normally around 10, 11 is when we have that content out. But all four of you will be able to access that tomorrow. We greatly appreciate you joining as well. Couple of comments as we roll in here tonight. Brad says, watching from Luling, Louisiana. Yeah, That's not. St. Charles Parish is in the building. Good to have you in here. Greatly appreciate you being in here. Tyler says he's in the 323, the other LA in the building. I guess he's out there in California. It's the only other LA I know. Good to have you in here with us tonight. Jeremiah Phillips is in the 337. He says 337, stand up. Well, Verge Osbury stood up for you today, so that is a very big deal. Lars says Sherwood Forest, Baton Rouge. Good to have you in here with us. John says congratulations to Verge. Great promotion. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Brandon says, my man got a nice fade today. Looking good, my boy. Yeah, did get a fresh fade. Receding hairline as you're getting older. You can kind of notice it a little bit more. But the top looking fresh. Women out there whistling at your boy. Your boy down to a fresh 220 pounds, 5 pounds away to get down to 150. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. People are like, damn, look at those guns on that guy. He ain't got none. I'm just saying, but the fresh fade always makes you feel good. To all of our friends in the 985, you got to go over to the Bearded Barber. They're going to give you a fresh fade. Fresh fade, you got to do it. You 1,000% got to do it. But we appreciate Matt and our guys and our friends over at the Bearded Barber. All right, let's get to, we got another member here. Dustin Fontenot became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. We greatly, greatly appreciate all of you that are joining the YouTube channel. All right, listen, we got lots that we got to get to tonight. Verge Osbury is promoted to athletic director. We need to talk about that. Is this Nick Saban stuff real? Well, Verge said today, no. And if he actually was, we actually would go after him. We'll talk about that as well. Carter Bryant joins us at 7:35, so very much looking forward to that. Let me get to a quick break. We got lots to get to. Verge Osbury is promoted as LSU's next athletic director. We'll talk about that next. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red Stick.
We're back.
All right, let's get moving here. Verge Osbury has been promoted to the full-time athletic director. And let's roll through the day. So today, LSU announced that they are going to have a new president. We've kind of talked about this over the last couple of days of what they were doing here. But Dr. Wade Rousse is your new president for LSU. And they also brought in a chancellor and provost, Dr. Dalton, along with him in a partnership of what they're doing. Now, after the announcement today that the Dr. Rousse was going to be the new president, which is kind of what everybody is kind of known pretty much. I mean, if you just have any central base or follow LSU of any central base and you keep up with it, you kind of had an idea that Dr. Rousse was going to be the next president. It seemed as if that politically it seemed to be aligned through the governor that he was going to be the next president. It's kind of been the unkept secret going on here. Not sure that a lot of people foresaw the next couple of moves that would be going on here. As Alabama's provost and Dr. Dalton also is going to be coming on board and being the chancellor and provost for the university. Now, today there was a lot of interesting things. I'm not sure if a lot of you were able to kind of catch on here in reference to what happened throughout the day. So the Board of Supervisors met, and they went through final stages and talked to the finalists, and they had an executive session before the vote went down. Dr. Rousse was the one that they chose, and we all know that. But there's also something that went on here that I think is a little bit unnoticed. From what I understand, there was a thought process when Dr. Rousse was announced that he was the president, that LSU athletics and the president were a little bit worried about the current structure going into this without a sitting athletic director and with not having a lot of alignment in reference to what has been going on in this coaching search. Take that for what you will. They literally had talked about this, that they spoke about this in the executive session when they were hiring a new president. Now, today about 3:45, I tweeted out the Blake Baker hold that Tiger thing, kind of sending a little bit of a signal that, hey, man, kind of like what we did with the Brian Kelly tweet in reference to, hey, man, I'm hearing today's going to be very interesting. There's some crazy things that are going on here. I do think behind closed doors, if you're asking my opinion, clearly opinion, LSU wanted to have some alignment here. And from what I can tell you that I do know, you can believe me, you don't have to believe me, from things that I heard behind the scenes, there have been conversations that have been happening informally between other candidates around Louisiana and around the nation about becoming and getting and having interviews for the full-time athletic position. Some of the names that we talked about, whether it be Josh Brooks, who I still thought that they were going to go after, doesn't seem now that they are, clearly. JRTs, Heath Schroyer, who was the athletic director of McNeese State. Those were all things that I fully believe and have been told that those people had been told, meaning like JRTs, Heath Schroyer, whatever it may be told, that they were going to be considered in some of this. Maybe they still are for deputy AD roles, what have you. I don't know. But today in the executive session, it very much well feels that from some things that I heard, that they were really worried about this alignment. Dr. Rousse, in his speech today, in reference to becoming the new president, said, we're literally at like 4:15 when the interview is going on, that his first action was to meet with Verge Osbury tonight. That was his first course of action. The first act that he made as president was to promote Verge Osbury, who has been a lifelong LSU guy, a former player, has been a part of the athletic department for a very long time. He's been here for a lot of national titles. He's been here for all the ups, all the downs. We all know that. He's been here when things have gone really sideways, even sideways for him, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But Verge was promoted as the athletic director today. Here are my thoughts on it. Look, you have a guy that knows the inner workings of LSU. There's no learning on a couple of things here. There's no learning of where you need to go for money from an NIL perspective. There's no building and relationships with donors and boosters that need to steer the ship for football. That's not happening. Verge knows more than anybody who could have come in here in a lifetime with the experience that he has. The great thing about promoting Verge Osbury is he knows every inner working of this place. I think if you told him to be blindfolded and walk through every single stadium, every Alex Box, Tiger, Death Valley, you ask him to walk through the football facility, he could do it blindfolded and get to the destination of where he needs to go. Because I always, at least at practices, at least this fall, Verge Osbury was always there, always being active, always doing stuff. 1,000% knows what needs to be done and doesn't need to work through things. I do think that that is the biggest positive here. I do think that, too, that the political pressure made some decisions that maybe ultimately, maybe in a normal situation that LSU wouldn't have had here. I don't specifically know that they would have made a decision if all of the political heat with Landry didn't force this. If you ask me my opinion, I would want to wonder why they did not want to interview other candidates that might want this job. Because I fully believe that there are people, and know for a fact that there are people that did want this job, not named Verge Osbury. But the executive session thing happened, and rumors and things started flying out of there because you did have a nay for Dr. Rousse today, and there was some pushback in reference to him, whether it be students, whether it be people that were in that room. There was pushback because they didn't want this political appointment, even though it didn't matter, and it's in the right of the governor to really push when he's got a member of Board of Supervisors. It's who he wanted. It's who he got. But the number one thing here that we have to make sure that we have is alignment. Guys, if we talked about it last week once, we talked it about 1,000 times. The number one thing coaches want when they go into a brand new place is alignment. You know who your boss is going to be. You know who your president's going to be. And everything and every concern that you had last week, whether it's the right move or the wrong move, you have it. You have it. And I do think coaches care about that a lot, especially head coaches. You know who your boss is going to be. Now, something that is interesting that we really need to talk about here when we start pushing forward into this coaching search that I think is the biggest thing moving forward here. Number one, in Dr. Rousse's acceptance speech today, the first thing that he said, the first thing that he broke down was what he was going to be in charge of and what Dr. Dalton, the provost from Alabama, who's also coming on a part of this administration, what he would be a part of. And I quote this from Dr. Rousse today. Athletics will answer to me. And then he listed through some of the things that he would do, meaning government body, the government bodies at B will answer to me, and athletics will answer to me, and he has some other roles. And then more of the academic side is going to be given to the chancellor and Dr. Dalton. But in his acceptance speech today, there were three things that he said about athletics. Number one, that tonight, in reference to this coaching search, I am meeting with Verge tonight. That should have been your first clue. That should have been your first clue. But he also said something very big here too. I am going to have, and this is directly from him, I'm going to have a big say, and we're going to work to get the biggest head coach, biggest and best head coach in here. Guys, he talked about religiously about him wanting to be involved in the committee for the head coaching search and being heavily involved here. Now, let me tell you why that matters from a massive point. I'm not saying Verge doesn't have any say. On Monday, we talked about, it's Tuesday. I'm forgetting my days. And on Friday, I do think Verge is going to do a lot of the legwork when it comes to connections, when it comes to talking to agents and coaches. I think from talking to donors about what they need, Verge is going, and we talked about this on Friday when Scott was let go. He is going to do all the legwork. There is one man who signs on that dotted line for who they want. It is not the athletic director. It is the sitting president. He already made this move in day one. And we have multiple quotes from him today in the acceptance speech of saying, I'm going to be heavily involved. Athletics answers to me and me, like basically saying they answer to me and me alone. He talked about Governor Landry and all the meddling that he did around LSU and saying, basically came out there and said, we ain't dealing with that. I'm here. And a sidebar to that too, the number one way that you say to yourself from a political standpoint that Jeff Landry's kind of out of this is you go out there and say that, hey, I'm going to promote Verge Osbury. Landry, there ain't nothing that you can do about it. Nothing that you can do about it. But there's one man who legitimately signs on the dotted line. I'm going to give you some of the quotes here that Dr. Rousse said today, and bear with me here, but we're going to go through some of them and some things that he said. Number one, we want athletics to be the forefront of this university. I love that. So you have a new sitting president today. Love it. I'm glad that it's not vacant. Guys, something about Dr. Rousse that I think people need to understand, he was there when Lake Charles had to rebuild. And whether it be through the hurricanes, whether it be through all of the devastation that the 337 went through, he raised McNeese admissions and was a part of raising admissions for over 14%. Well over 14% in the new admissions at McNeese State. He was the president when that happened. Got to give him a lot of credit. Whether you don't like the move politically, doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to focus on the positives of what I saw the man do. Don't know about every single intricate detail that Dr. Rousse did or didn't do. One thing I know, admissions went up 14% on an area that got massively affected by natural disasters. But he definitely got his involvement here when it came to athletics. It seems as if that him and President Tate do align on one thing, his predecessor. They want athletics to be the front porch of the house that is LSU. I don't think that you can take the job at this university. I don't think that you can be the president of LSU, the chancellor of LSU, regardless of whomst you are. I don't think that you can be a part of this university or a president and athletics not be the front porch of this house. You know, the great Mark Emmert, and I say great even though I think he's did some really Rudy Poo things as the president of the NCAA, the one thing that Mark Emmert said at LSU is that we're going to make it the front porch of our university. And they did. They hired a guy that we'll talk about in just a moment. You might have remembered him, Nick Saban. But the biggest statement that happened today, even more the announcement of Verge, is that the president said that he wants the athletic department to be the porch, the front porch of his university as he's running it. Dr. Rousse also said, we're going to hire the best head coach in the country. The best fit will be here. It's funny that it's exactly what Verge has been saying over the last couple of days. He said it in his press conference on Friday. It's like they talked before he even got the job. But the biggest thing, and just reading the quote here for you, Dr. Rousse then said in the final thing here, I expect to be very involved very quickly in the coaching and AD searches. I'm going to be very involved. So I just bring that up to say when we're talking about Verge and his appointment, there is one guy that gets the ultimate say. And the president has got to sign off on this. And you have two guys that have no idea about one another. Maybe they've kind of gotten to know each other over the last couple of days. Maybe they've been speaking. Who knows what's been going on behind the scenes? But there's one thing that I know, and all of you are adults, so you know, there's no way on day one that Dr. Rousse appointed Verge Osbury as his athletic director without having massive amounts of conversations with him beforehand. I'm going to let you adults in the room have those decisions and discussions amongst yourselves. I'm going to let you have those decisions and discussions amongst yourselves of how that played out. But I do think Dr. Rousse is going to have the final say, and we'll have the final say how all this goes down. It's not going to be like, look, Dr. Tate, I guess we can say this now, Dr. Tate was a big part of the Brian Kelly thing. Him and Scott were aligned, and it's why he signed off on it. These two are going to have to work together, but you can't convince me that they weren't having conversations. There's something that you do need to be prepared for. One thing that you're going to have to be prepared for, we talked about this last night too in reference to Verge. I didn't know that they would go here in day one. As soon as he was hired, I didn't know that until today. So my take yesterday, thinking that they might not go there, was wrong. But one thing that is going to come after Verge here is the Hush Blackwell report. If you don't remember, I'm going to tell you to do two things. Number one, go read reports about the Hush Blackwell report. Those stories, if they're not already up, they're coming by tomorrow morning about everything that went down in 2021 with the Title IX investigation and Verge being suspended for a year. It's going to happen. When you look at Verge Osbury, I do love the situation of you hiring a guy that knows what everything it takes to win at this place. I love it. He's been here. He knows everything. Did people panic? Did the Board of Supervisors and the president panic because they felt like that they needed alignment to go and get a new head coach? Maybe. But this one's going to get some pushback from the national side of things. Whether we internally as a state or as a fan base like, love, or hate it, it's going to get pushback. The articles are going to be out by tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll have a conversation about it when it happens. As far as this goes, it's going to be interesting to see how this works with other sports not in football. Verge 1,000% is a football guy. Does he try to bring in some of the other candidates like JRTs? Does he try to bring in Heath Schroyer? Does he try to do some things and get some other deputy ADs around him? Those are going to be questions because now his spot's got to be filled. And guys, quite frankly, his spot was a big one. I do think you're limited yourself by not talking to other candidates, but you're kind of put in a crunched spot by not having a sitting AD and coaches probably not liking that you didn't have alignment. So the number one thing I would say, look, last week you had none with the governor kind of blowing everything up. Number two, you have it now. Is it going to work? I do like a lot of things that Verge can bring you here. I do. Is he ready to be the lead guy in doing all the legwork and bringing in a head coach? Because the athletic director and the next head coach of football head coach of LSU football is also going to have to be aligned here. The third thing I would bring up is I do think Dr. Rousse, the new president of LSU, he's going to have the final and maybe the biggest say here. I don't think, for what it's worth, based off his statements today, that I don't think he's scared to do some big things financially, which gives you a lot of leeway. Like, look at what he did and what he signed off on with Will Wade. And I know all of you want to have those conversations today about Will Wade. Let's let Will Wade coach NC State before we fire Matt McMahon. Matt McMahon might make the tournament for all we know. Who knows? Who knows? I'm glad that in a week that you have filled positions. I do. You know, the thing in an acceptance speech, too, that Dr. Rousse said was these interim tags are coming off. I mean, he sent you signs throughout the day about what he was going to do. The pushback for this does worry me a little. The Hush Blackwell report is 1,000% going to be thrown in your face. But LSU decided, and in that executive meeting today, they thought that they needed to get alignment and needed to get it quickly for things to happen. The bottom line I would say here is, listen, today starts you going after your next head coach. You have a sitting AD. You have a new president. Where are they going to go? Before we get to Carter, I want to bring this up too. There have been speculations. We talked about this last night, and I got to reiterate it because it's coming back out. Last night, our biggest segment was, guys, this Nick Saban hype is not real. It's not real. It's kind of like a prequel. It's like we had a whole Lord of the Rings episode before it ever happened last night. Guys, this Nick Saban smoke's not real. Here's what I'll tell you. LSU probably did have conversations with Nick. Verge's statements today about those conversations not happening, I don't believe him. Actually, I know it did. I know that not true. This whole Nick Saban smoke's got to stop. This athletic director thing's got to stop. So if Nick gets the itch and wants to be the head coach, he'll tell Verge, and you'll make him the next head coach. But as of right now, we got to wait and see what happens. He ain't coming here. Not in my opinion, but we'll see. Been wrong before. We'll be wrong again. All right, a couple of super chats before Carter gets in here, or there's one. Glenn says, had to see this coming. Last Friday, they said Verge was making the hire. I don't know if I believe that. I still don't know if I believe that. Look, when they went into the executive meeting today and said that the biggest thing that they're worried about is alignment when it comes to athletics, I mean, I don't know. Dr. Rousse is going to have to sign off on it. I mean, he's got to be aligned with Verge Osbury because he hired him from within. It's his first action as president. So he's got to do what Verge asks. In a way, we'll see how this one plays out. We'll see how it plays out here. All right, let me get to a quick break. Carter Bryant joins us next. Stay with us.
Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotion. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to their website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their top priority. Hey, Southwest Louisiana, are you ready to gear up for your next outdoor adventure or tackle that next big job on the farm? Then head on over to Henderson Tractors, Boats, and Power Sports. At Henderson and Lake Charles, they've got everything you need under one massive 30,000 square foot indoor showroom. Kubota tractors and mowers to power through the toughest tasks. Polaris off-road bikes and side-by-sides to conquer any trail. And tracker boats with brands like Ranger, Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Regency pontoons for a day out on the water. Whether you're a farmer or a hunter or just someone who loves the great outdoors, Henderson has what you need to get the job done and have fun while doing it. Browse their new and used inventory over at their website, hendersonimplement.com. That's hendersonimplement.com. Or give them a call today at 337-436-4366. That's 337-436-4366. Or go see them over in Lake Charles on the corner of East McNee Street and Highway 14. Remember, if you need a tractor, go to Henderson. Need a boat? Go to Henderson. Or if you need an ATV or side-by-side, you know where to go. Henderson. Just let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. We're back.
Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Texas out, Oklahoma out, Virginia in, Memphis in for the new college football first edition of the playoff rankings. It broke.
No, that's not true. Because Texas Tech or BYU is going to be out.
Well, yeah, I was just sharing those rankings. That's what the.
Yeah, but that's not how it would end. None of those Big 12 teams are going to be out. So either Texas or Oklahoma would be in.
So this would be my thing. Let's say.
By the way, we're talking about the rankings here.
Yeah, so the rankings.
Carter really just comes in and just starts talking and acting like people know what we're talking about. The college football rankings did come out tonight, so
Yes.
Okay, so 10-3 Oklahoma versus, or 10-2 Oklahoma versus, let's say 9-3 Georgia, or 9-3 Oklahoma versus 10-win ACC team. You're probably leaning Oklahoma, correct?
No, the ACC team's got to get in. What I'm saying is either number 7 or number 8 are going to be out. So the highest ranked team right now is Texas. I don't think Texas is getting in. I think they're going to lose another game, but that's a whole different conversation for another day. Do you put in a 9-3 team and Texas over a 10-2 Oklahoma? I mean, they did beat them on the field, and wins and losses have got to matter here. But one of these Big 12 teams are getting out. There's only going to be one ACC team. Louisville, nor Virginia. There's not going to be two. It's not going to happen.
Dude, I just got more pissed off when I started doing a deeper dive of the ACC teams because they just don't play enough games. You know, they don't.
So all of the shit that you argued me about all summer, now you're coming around?
No, I'm just saying that.
No,
Blake. I don't want to go down this.
But hold on. You can't have that take, and that's what you argued me upon. I'm okay with them getting one spot. And
that's what I'm saying. Just one spot. Give them one spot. One measly spot.
Out, but then you're complaining.
It's one measly spot.
Hold on. But now you're complaining that they're not playing anybody, and that was my whole damn argument.
No. I'm okay.
This is worse than your ribeye argument. This is so dumb. It's worse than your ribeye argument.
Dude, a fillet will always beat a ribeye.
No, it's not. Be a man. Grow hair on your chest like Gaston, like his Beauty and the Beast. Stop with the filet mignons.
Blake, I've never seen you shirtless, but I guarantee you.
No hair.
Yeah, dude, I've got you beat. Like,
you would think because of the beer, I'm really hairy. Shaved.
Dude, I am the hairiest. No, I'm literally the hairiest individual. There are shirtless pics of me on the internet that people.
Yeah, you look like Chewbacca.
Yeah, you've seen it. So like,
everybody's seen it, Carter. I didn't want to see it, but here I am.
I know. Imagine how my wife feels, man. There's any wife that has to deal with any wife that has to deal with the hairy man. You deserve some type of award, right?
Could you braid your back hair?
Yes, I could.
That's so gross. You need to get that taken care of.
I know. Let's get a new partner.
Laser hair removal.
So someone should partner this segment, and I'll give all the money to Blake. And they're going
to need to give all the money to a local landfill with all that hair on your back.
Oh my goodness! But I love talking national college football with you more than anyone else, and I'm fortunate to get to talk a lot of it. And you push me against my often wrong and often right opinions on this. But obviously, you want me on here to talk LSU. Verge Osbury.
Yeah, let's get into it. So Verge Osbury has been hired as the new athletic director. You and I haven't spoken on this show until things went completely haywire. Scott Woodward out, new president in, multiple comments by the governor. So now that we all have a recap and you and I are talking yet again here on a Tuesday, your thoughts on Verge Osbury being promoted to the full-time athletics director?
Yeah, so I interviewed Verge quite a bit when I was a student, and he was always ridiculously nice to me and to all members of the media. You mentioned the Hush Blackwell stuff. That's going to be discussed whenever you hire someone with something like that. Yeah, I understand a lot of LSU fans will be, protective of that, but it is a discussion point, all right? But all of that aside, and look, it's very serious nature stuff. This honestly is a good step in the right direction for me as far as LSU is concerned, because look, Verge wants this to work at LSU more than anyone else. I agree. This guy played at LSU. He loves LSU. You mentioned a really good point though beforehand, that Verge is really big into football, right? So guy that replaces him, or just in general, whoever assists him as an athletic director,
probably going to be a baseball or basketball guy.
Yes. So your associate ADs are going to be important because you really want him to focus.
And you can't deviate away from baseball around here. Like if this were a normal university and it's a football guy, you'd probably go to getting somebody who's more basketball related.
Right.
Maybe LSU shifts, but they ain't going to leave Jay Johnson out there in the wilderness.
Yeah, and Verge for so long was so big in overseeing LSU's schedule and so many other things regarding football. So, for me, I think those associates are whoever the final associates are going to be very important.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing, obviously, you mentioned the Nick Saban stuff. To me, the big thing was two things. I do like the fact that he talks to Nick Saban regularly. I did not know that. I did not.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he asked Nick about coaching, who would fit role. So it's not just a friendly thing. It's kind of a mentorship, friendship kind of thing. I think
he confirmed the conversation today in his interview. I'm not going to, y'all go listen to it. He confirmed the conversation with him because he caught himself in what he said in that interview today. He goes, I had conversations. I have constant conversations about with Nick about who would work here. And I'm like, but why? Now, I know you always have a short list in a way, like the cliche for ADs, you always got to have a short list just in case something crazy happens, right? And I get that. He confirmed the conversation with Nick. Basically, is what he's saying. We're all adults here. Let's put two and two together. Let's stop speculating. He didn't technically say that. I don't want to hear that bullshit. Be adults. You know what happened here.
No, there was some smoke. I mean, look.
Come on. He talked to him, but he put that to rest today.
Yeah. And then the second thing, and this is the biggest thing for me, is that he is willing to wait for the college football playoff. And
correct.
That has to be the biggest thing if you're a fan.
It screams Lane Kiffin.
Yes, and on top of that,
screams Marcus Freeman too.
And this is big if you're an LSU fan because you get into the portal window rules changing, and you've talked about it on your other show, Ruffino and Joe show. It changes a lot, right? I mean, if you bring in a new coach, that spring window is big. It's massive, and that's you
can't worry about that because here's the truth. Now that Verge is there, it gives you stability, meaning Verge being there, meaning Verge being promoted to AD. Let's say you want to go after a Lane Kiffin, okay? You have your sitting AD and you have a GM. So that guy, if he's in the playoff and he's ever thinking about what's going on, like, hey, do I really want to take this LSU job? I mean, we're already behind in the portal or all this. Well, you have a sitting AD who's a football guy who 1,000% wants this to work, and you have a general manager. I think today's hiring of Verge, whether you want to agree with it being alignment or not, it ends all of Jeff Landry's bullshit of last week because they're not going to let it fluster. You have a centric voice from the athletic department. Now, you can say whatever you want about Verge. If you don't like the hire, that's fine and dandy. That's a completely different topic. What does it do right now? From the portal window standpoint, what is Austin Thomas going to be doing? You think he's going to be sitting there with his thumb up his ass saying that I'm not going after portal players? You're crazy. Now, I'm sure they're going to want to know who their head coach is, but you're not sitting there with your thumb up your ass so you can wait to go get a guy if he's in the playoffs.
Before I make this next point, I do find it ironic that you bring up the thumb in the ass when it's LSU Bama week, because I want to know if that Alabama fan
stuck his finger in my booty.
I need to know if that Alabama fan ever found the culprit. I've got to know.
Let's be honest. He looked like he had smoked some meth, and he probably put his own finger up his own ass.
That's what it probably was. That's what I was saying. But
LSU fan stuck his finger in my booty.
I need to know where he is, and
I hope he's just still alive. That's all I care about. What do you think of the hire, though? I didn't really ask you. Like, do you like the hire? Do you think that they should have tried to interview some other candidates? Like, what do you think of Verge Osbury being the athletics director?
Like, I'm always a let's see what's out there kind of guy, simply because you are LSU and you never know what could fall into your lap, but it is a little bit different when it comes to being athletics director, right? It's not like I don't know as much about ADs. I'm not Matt Brown, if you will, who actually, covers ADs and knows who actually the great ones are. But for me, I mean, if anytime an LSU job is open, especially LSU athletics, anything, you're going to get phone calls, you're going to get interest. But at the same time, Verge knows everything there is to know about LSU athletics. So you get someone that is probably the most expert knowledge when it comes to LSU athletics that you possibly could get to fill this role. So that does excite me, and then we'll see what he does.
Are you worried about this Hush Blackwell pushback that you're about to get?
Yeah, you should always be worried about that.
To anybody listening to the segment, or you just joined us, the 2021, there was an investigation on the cover-ups of Title IX, which led to Verge Osbury being suspended for a year. And Carter, I think whether they're coming out now, I've been on 2 shows, I don't know. Regardless of all of that, I mean, the national media is going to come after this.
Yeah, and it's in their defense newsworthy. And I know, once again, it makes you uncomfortable if you're an LSU fan, and it makes everybody uncomfortable. You never want your school to be mentioned with serious nature such as this, but it's complicated. And I don't want to get into, because it comes off bad if I get into like the whataboutisms, but there is a lot of this at other schools, right? Guys with
but there's not a lot of guys getting suspended for covering up Title IX stuff.
Yes. So, like, for instance, the best defensive coordinator in the SEC this year is DJ Durkin. Right. So, once again, I'm not absolving LSU. It's just when you hire talented people that you want to lead the program, there's baggage that comes along with that. But, everyone's going to have their opinions on that. And, mine's is very complex. This is a very serious matter, and it does.
Well, people came after the Hugh Freeze situation people came after the Rick Pitino situation. I mean, like Rick Pitino, his players got raided by the FBI, and there was a hooker ring in there, and there was cocaine, and I'm not making that up. Like, that really happened. Hugh Freeze, who had the strippers on speed dial to go allegedly have sex with players and recruits. I mean, like, remember the phone? Like, why not throw the phone in the Mississippi River? Like, what are you doing? I mean, they're gonna come after. It's why I'm asking you. I'm not saying anything right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, it's just they're gonna come after it. They're gonna target it. It's coming. Pause.
God, a pause in the middle of all this. But yeah, I mean, it's and look, there you always have these conversations with people that have those kind of backgrounds. And look, if it comes to be, they'll have that conversation if LSU decides to keep Frank Wilson as a head coach. So you always have to be prepared for that. And look, everyone could go read the report for yourself and come to your own conclusions. There's plenty of people that bring up the fact that there are more people that actually fully lost their jobs that were working at other schools than those who actually lost their jobs at LSU and those who were involved in that. So we'll see. But obviously, the one thing that every single college football fan, this isn't just an LSU thing. Blake, I do think whoever LSU actually hires will even be more newsworthy than the Brian Kelly hire, which is crazy to even think about considering the Brian Kelly hire happened, and it was such a massive story that happened during the course of the season. But people, when they remember a story, people will never forget the Jeff Landry stuff that happened last week. They want to know what comes to the end of it. What is the conclusion of all of this? And if it's a big name, people are going to pat LSU on the back and say, hey, all that stuff didn't matter. If it's a less than stellar name, LSU's going to bring up that Jeff Landry heard the search and that they didn't do a full athletic director search and they settled there. So what I would want from, an LSU football standpoint is just go hire who you think is the best. Don't worry about the outside public perception, because what could happen is, hey, we want to overpay for a guy that we don't actually like a whole lot just to make it newsworthy enough to justify everything that happened in the past week. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. I can fully comprehend it, but what you're basically saying, the thing that I agree with what you just said, for what it's worth, is either it's going to be a political home run or a political strikeout.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a lot of middle ground, because let's say that this new coach comes in and they go 8-4, 9-3, 8-4, 9-3, and they ultimately get fired. Well, then it's a political strikeout because you fired the coach.
Yeah.
Right? Or this guy comes in here and wins a national title. There's only two endings to this story, Carter. There can be, well, he just never could get over the hump. We got to a couple of playoffs, whatever. But ultimately, it's going to come down to whether it worked massively or it didn't. There could be some in-betweens of playoffs or not, but it's not. People aren't going to remember it that way. Carter, you've covered this place longer than most. You know what LSU fans are going to say. I mean, for what it's worth, Brian Kelly won 34 games in 2.5 years. Like, at a lot of places, that would be damn good. Not this place.
No.
You get what I'm saying? I don't think Brian Kelly was horrible. Not from a wins-loss standpoint. He just wasn't good.
Let me ask you this, and I'm going to ask your audience this. You got a bunch of super chats coming in here. Good stuff. Do you think LSU fans would be ready for a first-year coach potentially going 6-6? I mean, a true bottom-out year. How do you think LSU fans would handle that?
Oh, as much as they handled that BK is going to build this and win a national title, to probably, I mean, I don't think they'd like it.
Yeah, I mean, like, we could all go back.
You can't overreact to a first year.
Well, like, that's just not how it works at LSU. I mean, because Brian Kelly was so good in his first year, and he had a lot of things. He had a lot of balls bouncing.
Yeah, but you can't. Are you going to hire and then fire a guy?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just asking fans next year, with the 9-game conference schedule being the way that it is.
Well, then you're just unrealistic about where LSU is going to sit at next year.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, if we can't put together the roster that we need to compete in a 9-game SEC in year one, with Clemson as a difficult non-conference game to start next season, you need to be ready for potential mid. I'm not going to use. I hate to use a millennial term, but you need to be ready for it. I mean, look, that first year,
we don't know how they're going to react to it, so we got to wait until the schedule, like the roster's actually put together.
Yeah.
We don't even know who our head coach is going to be. I mean, we do not know. I mean, this could be a situation of, I don't want to say Curt Cignetti, but Curt Cignetti didn't play a tough roster at all. We don't know what he really truly would have looked like in year one if he played an SEC schedule. You know that, and I know that.
Yeah, but it's just, I do, and once again, I'm not saying that it is going to happen. It's just the SEC, when Brian Kelly took over to where the SEC is now, it's just so much harder.
Texas wasn't in here. Oklahoma wasn't here.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's next year's schedule is going to be hard. It's going to be one of the harder ones, no matter how the schedules actually do line up.
And you won a non-SEC conference or non-SEC.
Yeah, I will still stand by it.
You saw the rankings tonight, huh? With the strength of schedule.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, you know who ranked it all in the top 10, right?
Good. Hell yeah, bro. This is going to be awesome.
You're a silly goose.
I know. I'm the silliest goose of all time, wanting more great football for the great AYS nation and the great PHL.
Oh, it's great for us. It's great for business. Oh, I mean, yeah, it's fantastic for business. I'm just saying. I'm just saying here.
And it's fantastic for college football fans. Fan freaking tastic. I don't need to see Alabama play Mercer. I don't.
You don't watch that game anyway. You don't watch. Who did Alabama play last week?
What do you mean?
See, you didn't even know they were on a bye week. You didn't even know.
On a bye week. That's what I was asking.
You didn't even know. It took you 27 seconds.
I keep a full schedule.
Boom, 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 boom.
I keep a full schedule around me at all times. I have this saved on my phone.
Legendary says, what couple super chats? I missed Eric's becoming a member 2 months ago today. He says, yo, let's go. Glad that Eric's in here, but I know that you have the schedule.
All right, Eric.
Couple other things. What did you think of Dr. Rousse's comments today saying that he's going to be quickly and very much involved, and then putting himself in the search committee and then saying, I'm getting involved very quickly on this coaching search? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. I hope it's I understand.
He has ultimate say.
If there's 5 members in the search committee, and Verge confirmed that the 5th is President Rousse. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to assign percentages of the others, and I don't know a whole lot about Scott Ballard and the others that are in there, I would hope this is a 75% athletic director search, right? Because that's the football guy that's in the room, the true football guy that's in the room. So yes, I'm fine with the president that's involved in athletics. William Tate was very involved in athletics, but you know, I don't want the president making the hire. Okay. And look, I can live with this being mostly a Verge search and the hire not working out, right? Because he's a football guy. I'm fine with this. It's probably something he's dreamed of his whole life, to actually be the guy to make this decision. I don't think that's going to be the case. So I do think there's going to be quite a bit of collaboration on this. So we'll see how this plays out. I don't know a whole lot about Rousse. You know, I just don't.
I got a question in all of this. How does Verge tell the guy that promoted him to the biggest position that he's always wanted? How does he tell him no?
I mean, you can't bite the hand that feeds you, right?
And you can't bite the hand in general. I mean, the guy that puts you there, if he wants to be involved in this, I mean, Carter, I mean, his statements today were, I want to be massively involved in this coaching search.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know how, how do you interrogate? How do you read that? Because I read it as like, damn,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just depends how much he'll trust Verge's opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know, Blake, how that's actually going to be doled out. I'm not going to pretend to know. I just hope that Verge is the guy overseeing it. But what say you? I mean, do you think it's going to be a little bit more collaborative? Do you?
No, I mean, yeah, I think okay. My thought is on how this is going to work. I didn't think that they would hire him this quickly without a search because of the Hush Blackwell stuff. Here's what I do know. They talk to people behind the scenes, uninformally. As late as Sunday, they were talking to other ADs around the country. They uninformally met with one on Sunday that I know of for a fact. So I didn't think they'd go to Verge that quickly. But here's the thing. I think that I mean, I just feel like Rousse is going to have a massive say in this. I think Verge does all the legwork. Hey, Verge, you're in the room with us. We're all having this conversation. You talk to the agents. You fill the phone calls. You have the connections. I'm coming in here to clean up, and I'm knocking everyone home. That's how I think that this is going to go. And I don't think Verge is going to have the ultimate say in this. I don't. I never have.
And I will say, as far as the AD search is concerned, man, I would have loved Jay Brooks to be the guy from Georgia.
Dude, I mean, I know Jay. You mean Josh Brooks?
Oh, that's Jay.
Yeah,
Josh.
Josh Brooks. Look, as far as yesterday, I know that I know he put out that statement, but there were a lot of political people that wanted him to talk to him.
I just love a whole lot about Georgia athletics, and
he does. He has no involvement in football. Let me just hold on. He has no real involvement. Kirby runs everything. He's just there for fundraising and support.
Good. I would have loved him, but you know, I'm fine. Like I said, I'm fine. I'm fine with Verge. I'm fine with it.
All right. Do you think that this changes the coaching search at all?
Yes and no.
Like, let me ask you this way: does Marcus Freeman now become a real possibility here?
I would say no. I just don't see that happening.
I
Blake.
don't either.
I don't quite get the steam of it, especially when he.
Well, he sent his sons to play for him, so there is something.
Right, but the fact that when he turned down the LSU or the LSU DC job, it was amazing how to the last second that actually was. And
yeah, like LSU waiting for a fax, and he accepted, and then all of a sudden the fax never came, and
then
but did he want to be attached to a lame duck?
And and then there was a whole thing with being in the Midwest and going to a Catholic institution and his wife being. I mean, there was a lot of stuff involved in that.
LSU Catholic.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. But there was a Midwestern thing. For me, Blake, this was the question that I wanted to ask you. Do you think Verge Osbury being the athletic director helps Frank Wilson have a legitimate shot at being the permanent head coach?
Oh, 1,000%.
That was, to end my show earlier tonight, I said if there was a big winner with this, it was Frank Wilson. And look, if Frank goes 3-1 to close this out, or let's just say this, if he goes 4-0 and LSU doesn't have a guy in the pipeline, Blake,
you got an Ed Orgeron situation all over again.
So, and this would come down to LSU fans really looking themselves in the mirror and saying, "Hey, we might not need to win the buzzworthy press conference situation. This would help roster transition for next year. This would help with alignment. This would help with NILs and buyouts and all of that, because that does, I think." Based on everything that's happened, I tried to look at all the details, all the facts that I know. I'm not the most plugged in guy. I never will claim to be Pete Thamel of LSU media, but I just keep going back to how this last week has really played out for Frank Wilson. And a lot of shit has happened in his favor. A lot. Man, it is just crazy listening to the former players buzz about this guy. I'm not just talking about the ones that it spoke to the team. I mean, there's a lot of positive vibes with Frank being the guy right here.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think with what happened tonight, I still think it's slim, but the chances of him being the next guy has gone up.
I agree. I massively agree with that. And let me say this too. I got to be real with you, just in case people haven't heard me say this. I don't like this whole former player thing that BK didn't allow former players at practice. That is not true. There's a narrative out. Look, get on BK for 1,000 things, not talking to Andrew Whitworth enough or whatever that was. Okay, I'm with it. Do not tell me that he didn't let former players at practice.
He took photos with a gazillion of them at practice.
Yeah, I hate this. Look, I'm okay with dogging the man. Dog him. Say whatever you want. I don't care. Don't lie. Don't lie. Don't lie on the situation. Come on. That does bother me. That bothers me.
Well, it comes down to weight room access.
Carter, with my own eyes, when we were in the second practice and we went from the indoor facility to the outdoor facility, there were 3 former players working out in there.
Well, those are the rumors, Blake. That's what I'm giving you.
It's not a rumor. I've seen it with my eyes. It's not a rumor. And Carter, there were 30 plus media members there. Ask them.
Yeah, no, I'm not denying that. They've always let former players work out.
Always.
Yeah. I mean,
you want to know who was in there? Leonard Fournette's ass was in there. Just going to tell you, you can't miss the bald and you can't miss the beard and you can't miss a 6 foot, 240-pound dude. Sorry. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't like that narrative that gets pushed out like that. It's just not true. It bothers the shit out of me. All right.
Couple of super chats. Legendary says, here's your couple of super chats. Okay, I appreciate it. Andrew sends a $20 super chat, says, love the Verge move, regardless of the perceived baggage. LSU guy 100%. I think Lane builds a dynasty at LSU. We get a deal done. Does Rousse get the deal done? Landry's oral diarrhea on the head coach contract makes me nervous.
Oral diarrhea. That's going to be the.
I actually don't disagree with what he said on that.
Who, the super chat?
No. I don't disagree that I like the incentive laden deal for coaches.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. But I hate that you publicly said it.
Yes. And, you bring up a very prominent agent's name and all those different things. It does change.
The agent that you got to now work with.
Yeah, and that was, you see, here's one thing in life that I've learned, and you learn this in sports media as you grow older. Specificity in your questions and in your answers is what really cuts deep, right? So, you brought up the contract stuff, but then when you bring up specific people's names, that really cuts deep. It's just like it's different. It adds a little extra something to it. But I will say, if we see moving forward, Jeff Landry taking a seat back and letting Verge and President Rousse and this search committee do what they need to do, I think all of last week, Blake, can mostly blow over. I really do think so.
This move, Carter, this is what I said. The move that he made tells Jeff Landry, you ain't going to do shit. Now, I mean, how else is it to perceive it? It completely puts it away, to your point. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, it does, but,
That's why I also just don't think – you really mean to tell me, okay, Verge is one thing. Is Verge in there to say, hey, we might not be able to bully another AD. Can we – I say bully. We might not be able to get what we want with another, experienced athletic director. We can with Verge.
Right.
I mean, hey, Verge, we put you in there. I mean, we can get rid of you. I mean, you do what you want to do, but I mean, because Jeff Landry is going to run for a re-election. And Carter, you might have another 6 years of him as your governor.
It's a very real possibility, yeah.
Very real possibility. Now, I think that John Bell or somebody else might, who all knows what happens? I don't know. But it's going to be crazy. I don't here's the thing about what Landry said, though. It is a conflict of interest with Scott Woodward and Trace Armstrong and Brian Kelly. It is. He's not wrong.
And what? And the quarterback.
And the quarterback, which...
Dude, you don't understand how much that I've thought about that, okay? You could say whatever you want about Jeff Landry, but the biggest thing all of last week did for me personally as an analyst, and Blake, you know this, with stuff that you can just connect on your own dots. I take this stuff very seriously. I'm always trying to figure out, is there an agenda or does anyone have a reason to be doing this, that, or the third or whatever? I wish I would have thunk of that earlier. I mean, do you feel the same way?
No, because I literally had a segment about it the day it came out and said, this is fucked up.
The day that...
Yeah, the day that the Trace Armstrong representing Garrett Nussmeier thing.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a good call by you.
Yeah. I mean, how is it not?
I mean, well, can I
just be real with you here? I mean, we can have this conversation at the end of the season. LSU's heels were put to the fire.
I've thought about it nonstop. I really have thought about that nonstop. I never want my coach and that coach be represented.
Over Brian Kelly and your quarterback, brother.
And their bosses or their boss. It's a problem. It's a big problem. I don't like it screams that. So I'll give Jeff Landry a lot of credit because, I watched the Netflix clip and I'm like, oh, okay, they're the same agent, whatever. But I never thought of what if Garrett just completely falls off the face of the earth as a player, which has happened. It's not been all on him. But man, and that's a huge deal. And if I'm running an athletic department, I am making sure that doesn't happen. Now, the problem is agents don't have caps. You can represent as many people as you want. And in pretty much every other aspect of sports, there are rules against major conflicts of interest like that, right? Like if you're an owner, you can't talk to a player on another team or in all of that, right?
But Landry's not wrong, is what you're saying. He's just not wrong.
Trust me, I was plenty critical of Jeff, as were you guys, was everyone else.
He ain't wrong there.
No, he is resoundingly correct about that. It's one of those things where it's like, man, I wish I would have brought that up before the season. But you could see how that can definitely hamstring you, right? It really can, because
you have a sitting head coach and a sitting AD. When they probably needed to make a move at quarterback, somebody said, no, you're not.
But here's
hold on. Did you hear what I just said?
No, go on ahead.
I'm going to repeat it for you. When a move probably needed to be made at quarterback and all of you had the same agent, there's probably a reason a move didn't get made. Can you read? Are we all adults in understanding what we're talking about there?
And I'll add to that.
Okay.
It's also interesting that when you're talking about a certain player's injury, the messaging of that can be compromised. And
like the head coach's job's on the line and a quarterback might be not really as injured as everybody's saying?
Or
Connor, it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Or it could be the opposite. Like he's the coach doesn't want, if he really is hurt and he wants to play through it, it could go either way right there. So like it's one of those things that should never happen again. And I think if you're a smart athletic department, it's hard to finagle these things, but I'm never letting my head coach and quarterback be represented by the same person.
Let's move quickly here. Shaquan with a $10 super chat says, what's your honest reaction to Bama is burning? Because sure is looking worse and worse, especially if they beat us this week. Crazy thing is, we had just lost to Florida State 2 years in a row, shaking my head. I
had Alabama going to the college football playoff and making a deep run. And I said that on your show, and I said it on my show.
It's not smart.
What?
Meaning it wasn't smart to say Bama was burning. It wasn't smart. It never was.
For me, that wide receiver core was just too good to fail. And I thought they just had enough. I thought they had enough to where they were going to make a good deep run. Also, Blake, Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer are scary good together, dude. They just when those two are together, they don't lose. They just don't.
No, they don't. They're really good. And listen, I think this matchup, we didn't even talk about the matchup. I mean, we don't have time. But I mean, Ty Simpson and his offense is a little bit easier for you to contain versus Blake Baker cannot stop a running quarterback.
Yeah, and look, even though I have Bama going far, this is not even sniffing any of those elite Saban teams. I mean, so I don't want people to get caught up with the A on the side of their helmets, even though, they got a good college football playoff ranking and they are a really good team. But this isn't insurmountable. But his name slips my mind. You might know him, number 42. Their edge rusher is so good.
You're talking about LT Overton's 22.
42 is like a sophomore, and he's a bad.
Yeah. God dang it.
He tore Tennessee up. That was one of the best.
He tore South Carolina up in the second half.
Dude, he is a sick individual. But
here's the thing about the matchup, though. They're 72nd in the country in defending the run.
And the offensive line is wildly inconsistent. So, I do think, you could make this interesting. Also, versus South Carolina, Ty Simpson missed a few.
I don't think he's doing that again.
Yeah,
Pierre. Pierre is 42. Yeah, Pierre.
Yeah. Dude, he's good, man. He's nasty. That's one of those old school Saban, thicker players. I like my SEC football players thick, man. He is SEC thick, man. He reminds me of Courtney Upshaw. Dude's a beast.
I'm saying this about me. It's also how I like my women.
Thicker than cold peanut butter, baby.
No, not that thick. Stephen Young sends a $5 super chat. Says Verge hire means he now can't make Wilson head coach now because that reeks of the old days.
That's not true. The one thing about this is there are no absolutes. Literally anything can happen.
Never in coaching searches.
The only thing that we know won't happen is Nick not being the guy.
We don't know that yet.
But you still don't know that yet. You still don't. So,
I mean, he was, Nick Saban. We have a comment here. I'm just going to bring this up because not good as one, 2 or 3 not good as one. Says if Saban comes back, we win a natty. It remains 3 or 4 last 4 of the last 5 coaches. So to bring that in there, he ain't coming. I mean, did you see him with the cake and Miss Terry's telling him to lean?
He was content.
He ain't coming back. I mean, I said it yesterday. He's not coming back. I don't think he's coming back.
And 2 or 3, and I have this like a guy that just commented, dude, he is the biggest Kenny Chesney fan. Every time he super chats me, he wants me to bring up Kenny Chesney, who ironically is. I interviewed Nick Saban many moons ago, and I was like, Nick, who's your best friend? And he said it's Kenny Chesney. I was like shocked. I was like, that's random.
It seems like it's Pat McAfee now. I don't see what people see. I think Nick likes Pat McAfee.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I don't see what people see there. Maybe I'm wrong there.
I do have to give you a lot of credit though, because you and I disagree. We agree. We overlap on talking points. But my dad actually texted this to me, and he wanted to give you credit for this because he's from Baton Rouge. I was born in Baton Rouge. Neither of us have Cajun accents. Okay. I don't mind people doing accents. I don't mind people.
I know where your dad's going here,
dude. In the middle of a serious interview,
it pissed me off,
dude. I was fuming too. I was like,
it pissed me off because listen, I'm not a Jeff Landry fan, or I'm not really a politics fan in general. I don't give a shit. Don't you make fun of our culture, brother. I'm sorry, but hey, brother, you come back down to Louisiana and people remember that. All right.
Dude, it pissed me off.
It pissed me off.
And I'm a little bit different from you. I'm fine with you making fun of certain cultures as long
as you making fun of Landry, and Landry didn't understand it. That's what really pissed me off.
So that's what was wild to me about it was you had this big interview with a very powerful person, and it was a serious interview. I mean, he mocked all of it. He was mocking it.
I was like,
it
pissed me off. Sorry, go ahead.
So my dad was like, "Hey, your guy," I tuned into him, and he was like, "Your guy called him out on it," and I never did. So I give you a lot of credit for it because
it pissed. Look, people can disagree in the chat. It pissed me off.
Yeah, it did. It did to me too. Because number one, if you're gonna do it, at least practice it. At least let it be good. And then number two, it wasn't funny. It wasn't a good.
It wasn't. He tried to land jokes, and it pissed me off that Landry didn't see what he was doing and then call him out on the spot. Like, hey man, no way. It pissed me off. So you can say whatever you want about me. I don't give a flying shit. Shaquan with a $5 super chat. Love what you are doing. By the way, just recently found you this season.
don't like someone else anymore, mainly watching you and the Bengal Tigers guys on 3. Well, thank you for joining us. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Mr. Terps with a $2 super chat says BK should have won a natty when he had Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. Next thing. Or made the playoff at least.
I understand this. Let me say this. I understand this. The Kurt Cignetti thing's not going to always happen. He didn't Kurt Cignetti it. I don't think the defense should have been as bad as it was. They should have done better. But Carter, they just missed in the portal. And, he still had 30 scholarship players. They had no depth. And I got to be real with you here. Scott meddled.
Oh, with the rosters and coaches.
With the meddled. Like, I think he felt the pressure for Denver Harris. Why am I saying thinking? He felt the pressure for Denver Harris and made that take happen. Carter, they were trying to go out there and pay players. And when shit got expensive, he would not allow it. That's not an opinion. And by the way, let me tell you something else. You know why Jay Johnson worked? Because he told them to shove it up their candy asses. If you want to hear the truth, there's your truth.
They bringing out the truth in you. For thou shalt know the truth
shall set you free.
There you go.
But listen, I know for a fact in 2023, by the way, Jay Johnson with Tommy Tanks and Paul Skeens, he said, turn that sumbitch sideways, shine it up real nice, and stick it straight up your candy asses. Anyway, what were you saying?
No, I was just. But yeah, I meant to, because normally like this kind of like behind the scenes media things, I'll just text you to give you credit. But I was like, you know what? I wanted to give you public credit because you deserve it. I didn't hear anyone else make that point. It was.
You talking about Pat McAfee, or are you talking about Garrett?
No, the McAfee thing.
Oh, yeah. It pissed me off. I didn't like it. All right, last one. We'll get you out of here. Dane Bergeron says, finally someone admits Scott meddled. I've been saying it for years. He did, brother. Look, you don't have to.
It was coaches and players.
It was massive. Yeah. Blake Baker. It wasn't a BK guy. Now, here's the thing. So hold on. Guess who also has Trace Armstrong as their agent? You got to guess?
A certain someone.
No. Well, yes. Joe Sloan.
Yeah.
So, again, BK didn't do things he needed to do too, but Scott interfered a lot too.
Yeah. Well,
and does the Orgeron thing piss you off?
Which one? That he...
basically telling Ez he was going to sabotage him. And he did sabotage him.
How so?
Pelini. I don't know, Carter.
I didn't like the Pelini move for quite a few reasons. The one is, what else did he have to prove? Bo was leaving a head coaching job where he was working with his brother. The dream. The freaking dream. I know it was Youngstown State or whatever.
Winning.
They were good. They were good.
Poor Bo.
Yeah. And then in every interview, Pelini was like, that was not me. But there's so many Pelini
I do find it funny, though, that the very next year when Ed got fired and Durante Jones actually got to call defense, it looked completely different.
Dude, Durante was a beast in those last games.
Yeah, he was a couple of beasts. All right. Carter the Power Bryant. Love you, buddy. We'll see you.
Cheers. Go Tigers.
Right, it's Carter the Power Bryant. We're out of here. We will see y'all tomorrow. Just a reminder, every episode's brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Go download the app. If you want to take LSU plus 9.5, you go right on ahead. We're glad to be partnered from our good friends over at FanDuel. See you tomorrow. Peace.